All right, welcome back to the Virtue Bowling Supply YouTube channel, your go-to place for non-staff, non-biased, multi-style reviews. My name is Chris, and I'm here to bring the high rev perspective.
And my name is Josh, and I will be bringing the low rev perspective.
All right, today we're gonna be taking a look at the brand new Motiv Supra Clutch, and I'm gonna be comparing it to the Max Throw Hybrid and the Evoke Hysteria.
And I'll be comparing it to the Ethos Solid and the Torpedo. These comparisons will give us and you an idea of what these pieces look like going down the lane. At the end, we'll give our honest, unbiased review anywhere from nuts to trash. We are here at Via Linda today on a fresh house shot. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the lanes.
All right, just finished up throwing the brand new Motiv Supra Clutch, and in my hands, this one felt really good. I felt pretty comfortable anywhere playing on the lane. It started to struggle a little bit when I moved a little bit further left, but once when I started playing a little bit straighter, this one looked really good. At the first like 4 shots, I almost split the 8-9, which I thought was really good ball motion wise. It comes a little bit cleaner out of box. It's pretty shiny, but more the overall rounded kind of slow shape is really nice. My misses to the right really blended it. Super round shape and pretty forward through the pins, so I really like the ball motion. So now I'm going to go ahead and throw the Max Throw Hybrid and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Max Throw Hybrid go down the lane, this is about as good as a compliment to a ball as you can probably get. It had a very similar type of shape off the end of the pattern as the Super Clutch. I think I could shape the Max Throw Hybrid just a little bit more. So playing a little bit further left, it was a little bit more comfortable with that. A little slower ball speed, but still same overall shape. And I really like to see that out of the Max Throw as well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Evoke Hysteria and see how that compares. All right, after seeing the Evoke Hysteria go down the lane, this one definitely didn't blend the kind of wet dry here as well as the Super Clutch did. I was almost confused where I should really play with this one, but compared to the Super Clutch, this one was definitely more off spot. I felt like my misses to the right were way worse. Like every time I got it there, it kind of like almost hockey sticked. It was still smooth, but if it saw too much friction, it was going left, and I split a couple of times because of it. I feel like it was definitely more off spot because of the asymmetric core, but playing further left, I think the misses in the oil were just a little bit better than the Super Clutch. So, all right, final thoughts on the Super Clutch. For me, this is kind of like the best of both worlds out of what I like to see out of a bowling ball, with it being a little bit easier to get down the lane, but also have a really nice, strong, rounded shape through the middle part of the lane. I thought it was really good, and for here at Bolero Via Linda, this one looked really, really good. I was really impressed with how this one went down the lane. With that being said, I'm gonna have to put this one in the fire category. Personally, I really like this one going down the lane. The colors aren't really my favorite, but seeing them go down the lane and seeing the ball rev up in the right spot just really gave me the confidence I can throw this one kind of wherever I really need to, and it still go through the pins really well. So it's gonna have to be a fire for me.
Just threw 5 shots with the new Motiv Supra Clutch. This ball for me was a lot slower than I anticipated. It has a slightly cleaner cover stock, and you could feel that just with how clean it was through the fronts. But when it did hook and when it did see the spot, it was super forward and super, like almost lazy, but in a good way. I know that sounds weird, but for me, I felt like this ball, I was able to get it to the friction, and it didn't really want to jerk off of it. However, I did need to get it to friction, because if not, it was never hooking. So that was kind of the bad part. But again, it still was able to be smooth and controllable off the friction, which is something I haven't really seen out of many balls that fit in this type of category, that are cleaner but still reliable and smooth. So now we're going to go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Ethos Solid and see how it compares. Just through 5 shots with the Ethos Solid. This one was definitely a lot earlier than the Supra and was a lot more forward of a shape. Still, I wouldn't say necessarily more forward, but pretty darn close to how forward it was off spot. But the Ethos was definitely about 2 zones earlier. Had to play not necessarily straighter, but keep it in the oil, so angles a little tighter, where the Supra I could send it to the friction a little bit earlier. I would say that the Ethos didn't necessarily give me a better reaction, just something different, something where I could use the hold a little bit more if I need to, depending on what the lane is asking. Now we're gonna go ahead and throw 5 shots with the Torpedo and see how it compares. Just through 5 shots with the Radical Torpedo. This ball was very similar in the way it was a little bit more forward and tumbly. I still felt like it got off spot a little harder. For me, like, it's asymmetrical, so it did kind of burn up a little sooner, but for me, I felt like it still retained way more energy off the spot than the Supra did. Something that I would probably want to throw more on what we're bowling on right now, where I felt like the Supra, again, it just scares me as a low rev bowler, because forcing it to the friction is never my comfort zone, and I felt like I had to be open with the Supra, where the Torpedo kind of fits my eye a little bit more, where I can play the hold and play a little straighter because I know it'll get off of the back end. Final thoughts on the Supra Clutch. This ball for me, again, it was clean through the fronts and had a overall cleaner ball motion, which is something I don't typically love, especially just the way it rolled. It was a little weird for me, but I actually liked it. I know it's weird, but I feel like it would be good on lower volume stuff once the fronts start to hook, but you still need something that's controllable yet weak. This ball I feel like fits right in there for me. I still think it's a more of a niche ball, just because of it. Again, it's something you need the environment to suit it, where some other bowling balls you can really throw it whenever you want, but I still think for me it's going to fit a good spot in my bag. But with that being said, final rating for the Supra Clutch is going to have to be a fire. I would put it on the lower end of fire, but again, I struck too much with it for it not to be good, but at the same time I just have this weird feeling that it's one of those balls where even though it strikes a lot, it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be good, and that's something really hard that you have to define as a bowler. So for me, it's going to be a fire today.